Dahlia
Okay.
Bradshaw
Yes.
of Bravo Bitch Fest and
Yes.
Bitchopedia.
Yes.
So why don't we get started on Beverly Hills? So this week we had Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12, episode 15, Disco Inferno, which started off where we had Melissa Etheridge at the Homeless Not Toothless party.
I don't have an apartment. I don't even know where to live. And I'm homeless.
Oh God, my tooth fell out again. Look at this. Go upstairs. Oh shoot. Ow.
And then it goes into singing happy birthday to Kyle. I don't know. I'm gonna let you tell me what you think, because I feel like you have a ton of good insight about this week's episode.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. First of all, Kyle. God, my fight just never ends with Kyle. I swear to you, like, I say that I'm gonna get out of doing Bravo stuff, but that means that I wouldn't be able to roast Kyle on a daily basis. So that's actually my driving force to like get me back into it, is that I need to roast Kyle at all times. So she's just the messiest. Like, I could support her being messy if she wasn't sloppy. You know, it's just not good work. Like Lisa Vanderpump, if she was pulling any strings, you didn't see it. It was all behind the scenes. That's why she gives me queen energy. But with Kyle, it was very much like, do you want to talk about it, Sutton? Not right now. Hey, Rinna.
Yeah, like, she did that.
And it's so annoying to watch. Like, Kyle, be good or be good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the vibe. This is not it. Do something behind the scenes. I don't respect a woman who's messy like that.
She was very blatant. Did she drink? Was she drunk or anything?
I don't know, but Mauricio was fucked up, and I don't like Mauricio's involvement either. I want so badly for him to be cheating on Kyle, and I know that's fucked up, but
that's what I did a poll. I asked everyone, I was like, do you think that Mauricio cheats on Kyle? And it was like a resounding yes. I was like, oh, that's sad, but
I know I do actually kind of feel guilty, because like being cheated on is the worst, but she just set herself up to be so unlikable.
So I have a confession. I never watched Beverly Hills until like a couple seasons ago. I never even watched. I watched the last season of Teddy Mellencamp and with Denise. So like when people get upset at Teddy, I don't even really understand, and it makes me laugh. Like, I'm entertained by the enormous amount of hate that goes into Teddy Mellencamp. I'm like, damn, what did she do?
She's just so unlikable to me. And I don't know. I mean, she's clunky. Like, she's very much like, she is Kyle's minion. And that's the thing I don't like. Like, I need powerhouses. I liked Brandy and Lisa together, because Lisa did kind of use Brandy to do her dirty work, but Brandy's at least entertaining. With Teddy, it was like Brandy. Same thing. She's kind of bad at it. I like Brandy. But with Kyle and her, it was very much like Teddy is Kyle's little sister that just wants to be cool and hang out with everyone, you know, and she's wearing her clothes and like dressing up like her.
Didn't they go to therapy together or something? That's weird.
Yeah, it's giving single white female, and I don't like that in a woman. You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's like, just be authentic, be yourself. You don't have to try to pretend.
I love an alpha housewife. That's like my archetype that I resonate the most with, is like someone who.
So how do you feel about Erika Jayne then? Do you think she's a powerhouse?
No, because I don't think I thought a lot about this, and I was prepared for this argument. I don't think she's capable of evolving. Like, she was one dimensional, and it worked for her while it worked for her. But as soon as that crashed, and she's not able to lean into this, like, oh, I'm rich and maybe I got a private jet. My husband's 80 years old. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. As soon as she can't depend on that, people are like, you should give a fuck. She's like, well, I don't know how, so I'm just gonna drink myself into oblivion. And also, look, I told you I caught up. I was like 8 hours deep yesterday on Beverly Hills, so I'm just like ready to go. I hate the way they handled. This is a list. I hate the way they handled oh my God, what's her name? Crystal's eating disorder.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Hated that. Listening to Erika say, this is a chicken tender. You can't have this. And she's like comparing notes. And she's like, so when you throw, I almost came out of TikTok retirement yesterday because I was going to do a skit of them talking about it and Erika being like, so when you throw up, like, how far back do you stick your finger down your throat? You know, like and she was like, okay, well, you like to throw, I like to poop it out, but you like interesting, and like taking notes on it.
What that was such a weird, like, I cannot, was she drunk in that scene? Like, why did that?
It's like she was researching.
It was like, so weird. It was so
I'm over Erika, and I think that, like I said, she hasn't been able to grow past that. I think if she would have, because there are like little flash. I loved Erika when she first came on because she was, I think, a powerhouse, and she had people shaking in their boots. But now it's just she went a whole nother direction, and she's like the sad drunk aunt that gets drunk at the family parties. Like watching her sing over what's his name, Asher, and she was like, oh, kicking on the couch, like, babe, you know, like reliving her glory days. They were talking about Broadway, and she's like, oh, those years are behind me. Like, you know, that was years ago. Like, it was 2 years ago. And you could probably bounce back from it if you would have just said, like, if she would have just detached herself, but she didn't. She leaned too hard into the I don't give a fuck, and it didn't go well for her. And Rinna, I don't mind Rinna as much, but she's backing the wrong horse in this race. Yeah. You know, and she leaned in.
She's like so wild. Like, I don't understand her actions when she's just like coming at Sutton out of nowhere. Like, Sutton was just very like sitting there kind of stoic, and Lisa just started like amping it up. Like,
you know what it is? It's because I looked this up yesterday. Rinna, Sutton, and Erika are all Cancers. They're all the same zodiac sign. So they're all a lot alike. Like that's why Sutton triggers Rinna so much, is because she's got a lot of the stuff that Rinna wants as far as like personality wise, and she wants to be a fan favorite, whatever. But as much as Rinna tries to bring Sutton down, it doesn't work. And she's pissed because none of her old tricks are working, you know, and she's like, God, it's like a bug that just won't die. She's like, fuck, I thought I handled this, but fans just keep standing behind you, you know. And I think obviously her mother, like that is traumatic, and I really did feel sorry for her in the last episode. But like, yeah, it's just misdirected anger, and it's coming out on Sutton because she's upset. But like, for her to sit at that dinner and project onto Sutton and all the gaslighting that they do to Sutton, all of them sitting there, like when Erika was like, oh yeah, and I have a drinking problem too, don't I? Oh, because I've got a drinking problem. Like, bitch, you do have a drinking problem. Look at the entire season. What are you talking about? Like, y'all know this is being recorded, right?
It's so dumb.
We see this, and it's just all of them. It's just they all want to be what the other person is. You know what I mean? Like, it triggers them that they can't be that.
It's so like, I just watched Beverly Hills and I'm like, I cannot believe these women are arguing over like it doesn't make sense to me. I could never hang with them. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I would probably go insane. Like, they switch topics, and like Diana comes in out of nowhere, like going at Garcelle when they're talking about Sutton and these, like, it was just so weird. I was like, I could not. I would.
They're too chaotic. That's the thing, is like they go in with these plans. I think they go in with these plans of like, okay, this is what we're gonna do today. You know, because they're all friends. Like, we're gonna handle this today. But then they come in assuming something's gonna happen, like Sutton is gonna fold or Garcelle or whatever, and they're not doing it. So the tricks that would have worked on, let's say, Teddy Mellencamp or God Lover, Camille Grammer, you know, when you can like poke and poke and poke, but it kind of just doesn't. Garcelle's like, and like. When she said Google me, if you want to know me, Google me, I was just like,
oh my god, I love Garcelle. Yes, I love it.
I love Garcelle. So I think all their manipulation tactics don't work on like strong women or strong-willed women who actually will stand and say like, no, this is what I believe in. Like, what do you mean? What question are you asking me? And then they have to say what they actually mean rather than being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, so
It is.
I just went on a whole rant. I have so many opinions.
No,
I've got overwhelming opinions about.
Okay, I want to know your thoughts on, what do you think about Kathy Hilton?
Okay, this might be sick, but I want to see the like unhealed, completely like I feel like she's kind of toning it down, you know what I mean? She's kind of faking it. I want to see authentic, because I know she's a monster, and I think people would be into the Kathy Hilton monster too. Like, you don't have to be fun and lovable. Like,
yeah,
her villain era against Kyle is all that I'm waiting for.
I know. I'm like on edge about it. Like, what is about to happen? And I think it happens in Aspen, which they're going to in the next.
Is that happening soon?
I think so.
I remember hearing things, and I know, like, I don't keep up. That's what my opinions are sometimes like unpopular, because I'm like, I don't really keep up with the
I like
outside
unpopular opinion.
Yeah, so like with Candy and the Phaedra and Candy thing, I know that's off subject, but when that happened, I was like, I don't really know enough about it, but like Phaedra is really funny, and when they told me like what happened, I was like, okay, that is kind of, I see, I get it, like I understand that's problematic, but that's what Bravo does to you, is it creates these like, yeah, she's a horrible person. Would I want to be friends with her or tell her my secrets? No, but do I like watching her on TV?
I know. That's
yes.
I find like the whole Bravo fandom so interesting, because we're all watching the same thing. We're literally watching the same thing, but we all have different takes on it,
Yes.
and, like, opinions, and then like people get into fights over it. And it's like,
yeah,
clearly like your reaction or anyone's reaction, if they have a strong one on Twitter and stuff, is like more of a representation of their own trauma. And it's like,
yes,
you are showing all your cards right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I'm embarrassed for you a little bit.
yes.
But like, I do like to hear it, because I'm so intrigued by, like, if one person tweets something, I know that there's got to be other people who think something similar. Because like,
Right.
let's be honest, none of us are like amazingly creative and unique in any way. Like, we're
Right.
watching the same thing. We come up with
Right.
the same memes and same
It's
jokes.
not a hot take. Yeah, to think Erika's like a terrible person. Sutton, I like Sutton okay.
Sutton,
but she
Sutton annoys me, but I mean, like, I would take her side over anyone else.
An enemy of my enemy is a friend of mine.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
yes,
I find her so awkward, and she makes me uncomfortable. Like,
yeah,
she is bizarre and
she is bizarre. Here's what I think that they are like, I think people have a misconception about what Sutton is, and if they put her in the role of being like, she's not the alpha, she's not, I don't think she's center diamond material, but she is she's kind of like, hear me out, she's kind of like Brandy, in that she triggers people and kind of she does it naturally, you know what I mean? It's like, she's just being who she is, and she bothers these women so much that just her existing is enough of like a thorn in their side that like Garcelle could, I think, hold that. She can be the alpha, like she can put people in their place.
Yeah.
Sutton's clumsy, but she also is like a private investigator that will go to people, you know, and be like, well, I did find this out, and she's got a lot of connections, like she's rich. So I think if they cast her as the lead, so to speak, like the main character, it doesn't work, but she's a really great side character, you know. So like,
yeah, she has a good,
don't expect her to one day just start being eloquent with her work. She's still like a really emotional Cancer woman who's going to cry most of the time when she's making a point. Like, she's not Bethany that's going to be, you know, like heartless and like, well, you know, it is what it is, you know, deal with it, sit with your feelings. She's going to cry and be weird, but then when it's over, they're still going to be upset, you know what I mean? Like, Lisa Rinna is still getting to the point where she's like slamming the table mad. So like, Sutton's doing a good job. I think
she is doing a good job. So one big thing that we talked about earlier is that Taylor Armstrong is going from Beverly Hills to OC, and this is the first time in history that we've had a housewife swap franchises or get traded. I like using sports analogies. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think about Taylor joining over there? Do you think if she still lived in Beverly Hills, would she be a good addition to the current cast?
Ooh, I don't know. Honestly, after watching Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip too, I like the
talk to me. It was
like
such a big blind.
Yes, I like the Taylor, Cameron, Vicky. Honestly, Vicky too. Like I liked that. I don't know, the dichotomy. Like it's a lot of different personality, and I like the switch. And I think that Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, the first season, was when they took All Stars or whatever, and we had talked about it a lot in the fandom of like, as our metaverse is seeing these women come together. It's something so like sick and just we're obsessed, So like to think that one is going to switch franchises, unheard of. To think that it's someone who, I think Taylor only had like 2 seasons, maybe it's 3. But like not a lot of seasons. Yeah. And she hasn't been on camera. This is not someone who is switching, even like they did on $1 Million Listing with Frederick, it was like two established things or whatever. Like he lived both places. I don't know. I think it's different because I think Taylor's been off screen and she kind of made an appearance back in our lives. And we're like, oh, we love Taylor. And they're like, good, because she's fucking it's like when Andy does it at the reunions when he's like, well, good because Taylor, she's coming in. And Taylor's just she's kind of like a lovable, neutral person, but also she fucking has crazy moments. Like we saw, there's still untapped crazy in there. Like
I love it.
Yeah, so I am excited about it. I liked Taylor when she was on Beverly Hills too, and I mean the whole Russell thing, like that was fucking crazy. That was a first.
Yeah, that's actually what triggered me to not watch Beverly Hills for all those years, because it triggered me in such a dark way that I was turned off by the entire franchise for years.
I get that. We'll see, and that's I told you my podcast is about trauma, so like when I saw that I was like, we get to watch, like, this is groundbreaking. And I know it's kind of sick. It's like, they say dark tourism, people who like to visit haunted sites and things like that.
Oh my God. I never heard that term. And I think that's what I am. 100%.
That's what it is. Well, I was a tourism management major. So that was it's a whole era, people love it. They, for whatever reason. And that's how I felt about this, was like, I get to watch someone who's in the public eye deal with this and how she's going to do it. And it's watching Bravo address real issues does something for me. And it's not necessarily because I want to it's definitely not because I want to take the women's advice on how they handle it. Mm-hmm. But even if it's like, you see how mismanaged the situation can be, because Bravo a lot of times gets it wrong, but you learn more from your failures than your mistakes. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I can, I don't know, I just think it's so interesting, and the psychology behind it is what like I'm into. So I think it's great. And I love mixing in the different personalities. That's why I love Ultimate Girls Trip. Did you like the first or second season better?
Second.
Of course. Do you think it was because of the cast, or because it was like villainess?
I think it was the cast, but also Dorinda has a special place in my heart. I don't know if you can see, like I have Bluestone Manor bourbon. I don't even drink, and I have like 3 bottles of her bourbon here. But
have you tried it?
I did try it when I used to drink, and it, like, I'm not a bourbon drinker, so whatever. But
it all tastes like wood.
I live like an hour west of the Berkshire, so I go there for the dispensaries because their dispensaries are better. So I go there regularly, and every time I drive in and I see Berkshires, I'm like, what am I doing here without Dorinda? But we're supposed to plan a podcast recording soon. Things have been kind of busy and hectic.
You and Dorinda?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Like, she held my babies, or one of them.
What?
Yeah, I have a picture of Dorinda holding my baby. But anyways, going back to Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip too, I really loved it because it was like Bluestone Manor was part of, like, almost a character.
Yes. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And like Dorinda, yes, I know the popular opinion or whatever is everyone's like, she's still unhinged or whatever. Like, I like that about Dorinda.
I respect your opinion.
Watch it. Like, it's her.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of just want to see her be her. Like, that is her. And then having all these people there on top of having to film with them, like, that is a huge job, you know, with event coordination. Like, I even went live with her that day when it was first premiered, like the first 3 episodes. And I was like, Dorinda, you should be doing this every year. Like, you made it nice. She had and then like the next week after that, that was a blind item going around that she was going to do it every year. And I was like, did I?
Was it me? Okay, well, first of all, I apologize in advance for the Dorinda hate that I'm about to sling at you.
It's okay. I don't hold housewives opinions against anyone.
Well, and I have housewives that people don't like that I'm like, I like them. But I hated that it was at Bluestone Manor. I love Bluestone Manor. Like, the idea, it's very much like it's my inspiration for my decor in my house. I will say that. But Dorinda's crazy, and she has gone to the dark side that she needs to, like, people like Dorinda. And there's a whole, I want to do, she was actually the first one I got an idea to do Housewives astrology, like, combo. And I looked at her astrology and I was like, yes, I get her. Okay. So without going too into detail, one of her placements tells us that she would be very into, like, spirituality. She's very into, like, Scorpio energy is basically it.
Well, she's always talking about, like, Richard.
And that's the thing. Like, so it makes sense. When I saw it, I was like, yes, but there's a whole.
Who the hell is Richard?
Right. They call it the shadow side, where it's like the bad part of it. So it's like she's on the shadow side of, like, she got too caught up. She's too caught up in Richard because Richard's not here anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like she does kind of become that widow. So, like, I see it as, like, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful thing. And if she can fill her house with laughter and love, then that's beautiful. But the direction I see it going, if she doesn't change her path, is that she will, in a great twist of irony, she will become the Grey Gardens archetype. You know what I mean? Like, it's true. She will be that person.
That lady and her daughter in that old deteriorating.
And that's what they used to call Sonia. They used to say Sonia was, because if you watch it, it's this woman just going crazy. And she, like, Dorinda has great potential. When you see, they did the interviews in her attic and she had all this stuff behind her, I was like, Dorinda, like, we are towing the fucking line, babe. We need to pull it back. Otherwise, you're going to become this woman who's like, oh, great God, I love this house. And she just, like, she's obsessed with it. But the people from the outside looking in will be like,
yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, there's dead raccoons in here, though, that you need to address, you know, like, Dorinda, she's got crazy lady potential. And I would love it if she was, like, if she could lean into it and it was just lovable, but it's not. Like, when she starts drinking, the nasty side comes out. Like, when she slut shamed Brandy because her feelings were hurt, she was like, was that a shirt you were wearing or a dress? Oh, I couldn't tell. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's the behavior that triggers me. Because when you talk about, we were talking about, like, mother behavior, passive aggressive Southern woman. I should hate Sutton way more than I do, but I think it's because she's not as passive. I think she's aggressive. Like, I think she tells you to face. But, like, Diana, very passive aggressive and very gaslighty. Like, when she, at that dinner, the last episode that you're talking about, when Rinna's talking to Garcelle and she's like, do you hear her? Do you hear her, Garcelle? And Garcelle's like, yes. Do you hear me? You know, and Diana's like, oh, it's just so sad. That's all. No, that's all. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I mean? And Garcelle, like, they're using, those kind of people are dangerous because they're using these, like, psychobabble terminology of, it's real, you know, real therapists, things that therapists would say, but they're twisting it and using it, and it's like they're using their powers for evil, and it's gross to watch. Like, that's why I had to take a break for a second. It really is, like, I had to take a break for a second, because between them being bad at it and then Kyle just blatant, like, she just doesn't, she's like drunk and doesn't give a fuck. You know, it's like she realized she could put in a lot of effort, like she used to do with Lisa Vanderpump's. Like, I could scheme, but like, whatever. My husband's cheating on me, so I may as well just, like, get to the point. Like, what? She's talking about you. What do you have to say? Anything? Do you care? Like, you know what I mean? She's just reckless with it now, which honestly, I kind of respect. I'll give her that. I kind of respect that.
If that is the case, like, I kind of like that for her. I don't
Right.
really love Kyle, so I don't really have any feelings
Definitely
on her,
not.
but I do think that the whole like the KK Kathy, Kim, and Kyle, like, yes. I have a theory that Kris Jenner
is their mom.
I have a theory that Kris Jenner like mirrored her family to like groom her daughters the way that Big Kathy did with those three. But
that's
I don't even like know them. Like, this is just
doesn't matter.
Random
that's
theory.
A movie. That's a movie because like psychologically speaking, Kyle loves Kris Jenner for obvious reasons, but her latching onto her because she reminds her of her abusive mother. Write it. Like, I'll make the script, bitch. That's beautiful writing. That's the show that we need.
Let's do it.
Not the show about Kyle's mom doing whatever. I don't even know what their take was on that show that created all that controversy between the sisters. Like,
I never watched it. But
no one did. That's why I got canceled.
So I want to thank you for being on the show, and I want to just make sure that we tell everyone to go check out your podcast, Bitchopedia. Do you want to talk about that or your TikTok?
Yes. Okay, so you can follow me on any listening platform. It's Bitchopedia, BITCHOPEDIA. And we talk about psychology, spirituality, trauma, all the things. And Bravo as well. You know, Bravo listeners, I talk about a lot of stuff about Bravo that the references may get lost on them. But when I'm not talking about that, I also talk about what we were discussing earlier with the struggles of being a content creator and, you know, talking about things like Bravo that are fun, but then also deep stuff as well. So, absolutely. You know, and being able to cover all these bases. And then if you want to watch the ridiculous side, TikTok is where to find it. And that's at Bravo Bitch Fest. You can find me there. At Instagram, I'm trying to post on all the platforms, but TikTok is for sure the best place to follow.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to cover all the platforms. So
it really is.
Anyone who's listening, make sure you go check out Bravo Bitch Fest on TikTok. Your impressions are so spot on and hilarious. You have a gift